Let's see what it thinks. CYZE. Let's punch in CYYU. Let's see what it does. 200 nautical. Arrivals. Arnav 17. Via Elixo, it looks like, which is what we had. Okay, well, that's in there. Takes you out of the weather, hopefully. If we was flying this the other way... Yeah, look at that. I don't know whether the Arnav 11 was present before in Microsoft Flight Sim, but it's there now for this airfield that we're at. I couldn't load that earlier, but I was in the sim. I wasn't in this menu. Actually, if somebody's got the sim open, if you could put in CYZE as your destination and go IFR and see if you can load those two. Because when I was in the sim, I couldn't load that. And I don't know if Navigraph just added it. It's kind of hard to tell if Navigraph just added that for me. So if you happen to be in the sim, live fly. We've got loads of fuel left. In fact, we've got too much fuel left. I'm going to have to dump some. Dang it. Right, let's get rid of the fuel out the auxiliaries. Boost that to 100. And then bring up whatever we can in auxiliary. There you go. 100% left and right. Auxiliary on 8%. Magazines loaded. £1 off gross maximum. .3 minutes for that to get loaded. Let's have a look where it's put us. I can see the wind though. So looking at that, 05, but that's a tiny runway and we can't take off from 05, so we're going to have to take off from 11. Whatever it was that we landed on. Yeah, 11. So we'll go and take off on 11, backtrack. We'll have a left crosswind, which I could feel when I was landing. You could definitely feel that crosswind. Just waiting for this. 2.4 minutes. Oh my god, she's brought way too much cake. Does anybody want a piece of cake? Because Mrs. Squirrel has brought way too much. I can't eat all that. I'm not going to eat all that. There's never enough cake. Here, help yourself. There's way too much cake. This is birthday cake. It was my daughter's birthday a couple of days ago. I think she's currently over in Bicester. I don't know what the heck she's doing. Lola Greggius. Being brought a cup of coffee and cake when you're on final in the worst weather imaginable. Yeah, Matt, I'll send you some cake to Australia. I don't know, Matty. My my niece, actually lives in Bicester. Deppim. That's interesting, mate. So Depp can't select any approaches on CYZE. I just ran Navigraph and I can. So it could well be that Navigraph fixed the data on CYZE, which wouldn't surprise me. $231 nautical, northbound. I think we'll go for we'll try for flight level 200 and see what happens. Right, flight tracking. Okay, let's do this.
Engaging autopilot.
Let's get the pushback sorted out. Which we'll leave them off. Just put that on. Yeah, I'm by jokes here. I don't know. I've not even worked out what it's installed yet.
Oral warning, okay.
Right, Arnav wants 7 selected. So it's loaded all that in. Right, let's see if I remember to do things this time, eh? Okay, beacon light is on. So the process I go through is start engine and then wait for the N1 to rise to like, I think it was 10, and then you throw it into low idle.
Your flight will be monitored until you
And then when the
shut down
N1
the
reaches 50,
engines.
you turn off the starter. Which is what I thought I did last time, but somehow that button came back on or stayed on. There's 50 on the N1. So turn that off. It's so fiddly, oh my god. What does Navigraph do? Two things. One, provides you with accurate navigation data, which is called AirRec. So every month, or every 28 days every month, you get a new AirRec cycle, which has like changed nav data. And it'll have the procedures and approaches and waypoints and all that kind of stuff. Plates and charts, everything. And you need something to update that for you. Microsoft Flight Sim actually has built-in free data, but as you've seen, it's got holes in it. Whereas Navigraph's always been pretty accurate. Turn starters off when engines are running. I can see why you do it. Right, they're definitely both off. Confirmed they are off. Ignitions to arm. piezo heats are going on. Windshield anti-ice to normal. We are definitely going to need to have anti-ice today. It's 8 Celsius now. Is there a way to get fuel to the airport, Hull Rock? Yes, there is, but it's not easy. One of the best things that you could just do is if you... Oh, you bought the plane. Ah. You're going to have to move your character, rent a plane, and fly some fuel in, I think. If there's no FBO there, Hull Rock. It's such a common thing. Okay, we're good to go. Yeah, you basically got to buy fuel cans and then move them in with another plane to give you enough fuel to take off. And the first thing you're going to have to do is fly to somewhere with an FBO and properly refuel.
Approaching runway 0523. Runway 0523.
Yeah, Everest, the audio is just so broken. We're not on full throttle.
Approaching runway 1129. Runway 1129.
Like, I am on, look, minimum throttle. And this thing sounds like it's on full. Yeah, so Trucker J, what you've got, the pitot tube is a thing that is on a plane, and it measures the airflow, so it's measuring the airspeed. Now what happens is, in cold icing conditions, that thing freezes over and can't measure the airspeed anymore. And when that happens, you no longer see how fast you're going via the airspeed, which is a really big deal. So you have a pitot heat, and the pitot heat quite literally heats up the tube so it doesn't ice. And it's one of the things that you have to do even on a GA plane. Because if you can't indicate your airspeed, that's probably one of the most critical things, you know. Okay, we are on runway 11. So runway 11, we've got altitude selected, FMS. Altitude's been punched in. We're going to do a climbing left turn, but we also have a left crosswind. Flaps are, I believe the flaps are set. Yeah, flaps are set. Take off, fully forward. This could be a sporty takeoff. Right, power set. This thing doesn't want to move, does it?
Airborne time logged.
Gears up. We're going straight into instrument ratings. Look at this. Okay, flaps are set now. Let's try and get some airspeed. I don't have a new graphics card now. Still got my 2080 Ti. Right, autopilot's in. Let's back the throttle back a little bit. Some nasty conditions. Afternoon, helipilot. Or good morning, I should say for you. If I'd have had that Navigraph data installed before we landed there, that would have not gone anywhere near as badly as it did. Although the Kingo did start to behave very, very strange at one point. You said the Kingo's been treating me nicely. Did you see what happened on the last leg? Okay, so we took off, we climbed, we got to cruise altitude, I was doing something else, I came back, all of my screens were black. The whole plane just went into a circle and everything went cold and dark. So that was one thing that happened. Right? And then, because there's no nav data for the airfield we landed at, which was CYZE, there's no RNAV data, I had to vector myself in manually. The weather was supposed to be overcast at 3500 with light rain and 8-mile visibility. It was nothing like that. It was like overcast at 1500 with, I don't know, 2-mile visibility at best, which meant that we had to vector ourselves in. And while that was going on, the plane decided to go into like some weird trim setup, and it was flying like that and started to go stall even though I was full throttle. So the plane nearly fell out the sky until I turned off the autopilot, at which point I saw what had happened. It had trimmed itself like this, and I basically retrimmed it and it was fine. But it was a scary moment when we nearly fell out the sky. So yeah, the Kingo, until the last leg, the Kingo's been great, but the last leg, it just all came at once. And if you ever do get the Kingo go cold and dark on you, on the screens, the fix is this. If you leave one of these ignitions in the on position, that's when the plane goes completely bonkers. Yeah, that was a weird thing. Like, we was doing 120 knots, which was above stall speed, but it was going stall, stall. I don't know, it just went nuts. Oh yeah, and then as we're coming into land in ridiculous visibility conditions, Mrs. Squirrel pops in with a cup of tea and some cake. Leaving the starters on drains the battery. I should have looked up here to see what the battery was doing at that point. See, here's the thing, right? I've got battery selected, and it says nothing for the battery. So I don't quite understand. I think that dial there is in-op. Anyway, we had a lot of fun. It certainly made for an interesting scenario. The generators will take the load. That's very true. Yeah, no, that's very true. The gens should take over. It's getting a bit bumpy. I mean, if it's anything to go by, when we came in, I think the overcast layer started at about 12,000 and it went all the way down to like 2,000. So it should be a while before we break out of this. Landing lights coming off. It had the PFD and the MFD freezing the CBM on the approach, so I decided to turn the whole plane off and on. I tried Avionics Master off and on, and it didn't actually fix anything. I reckon we'll break out of this cloud fairly soon. I wonder what the weather is like. Down at the destination. Broken at 4,000, visibility 15 miles. Okay, that's a lot nicer. That's a lot nicer. 2 Celsius, pretty cold though. Wait, it has no charts. It has no chart north of this sector. Because I don't have Canada, presumably. Fun. They're going off grid. I don't think I've had that one, Johnny. I have not tried Squadrons in VR, no. I've not tried any VR at all. I tell you what, you wouldn't want to come down in your plane anywhere around here. It's just a whole load of freezing nothingness. That's how bumpy that is. It's not climbing very well, but then it is fully loaded. Nice Canadian views. Yeah, it's not great. I'm just watching my airspeed at the moment. Like 160 knots is quite low for 1,000 feet per minute. God. How high is this cloud layer? No, Venrith I know about Neofly, I've not tried it. Here we go, it's about breaking out. Look, it's gone a bit bluer. I think we're coming out the cloud. Just gonna pitch that nose down and get some speed. I'm not happy with this. Climb performance. There we go, we're coming out. So yeah, we've got cloud from about, what, 2,000 feet all the way up to about 15,000 feet. Just absolutely solid. That was nasty. I kind of feel like I don't know, I kind of feel like the plane is, a lot of the weight's at the back of the plane. I think that's one of the things that was causing it to stall as well coming in. I feel like the weight and balance is a bit off. Better. Hiding in the clouds from the feds. Sounds like a good plan. Yeah, there's something... These magazines are way heavier than they should be. It's almost like they're made of metal. It looks like our climb performance is a lot better out of the cloud. Well, I can't actually look at the chart for Arnav 17 because I don't have the subscription in 4Flight. I wonder if SkyVector has it. No such luck. Oh, we could try Navigraph. I don't know if it'll have the plate though.
For transition altitude.
Standard pressure. Okay, it looks like Navigraph has it. There we go. So I don't have it in 4Flight, but I do have it in Navigraph. If you actually look at this, it actually gives you the basics. You can see 2000 recommended. It gives you like minimum information, but you don't get all this stuff here. So we're going in via Iluxo, if I remember. At Rudver, we need to be recommended 2,000, it says here. So it's recommending 2,000 feet is where we want to be. So we'll plan that in mind. Down from 21,000 to 19,000. We want to be looking at about 60 nautical miles for descent. We're currently 164. So I'll be doing this flight, and then I'll be taking a break, and then at 5 o'clock I'll be back, and we're doing the group flight around Japan. If you want to get set up for that, you can run the route command, and it'll show you on SkyVector the actual route we're going to take, so you can get yourself set up. Just bear in mind that when we're flying, we're going to be flying... I'm going to fly the Caravan. It is quite a long trip. It's like 300 and something nautical. So you need a plane that can do, I'd say, about 180 knots-ish. So, you know, any Cessna 152 is not going to cut it. 172s aren't really going to cut it either. So you just want something a little bit quicker if you want to keep up. It won't matter so much in the initial stage because we're flying over Tokyo, but some of the legs are a bit longer after that. I think a 182 you'll be fine. I'm not going to fly quick in the Caravan. I'm going to fly about, you know, 160 knots probably. Should do it. Yeah, the only rule is if you bring it, you land it. Yeah, TBMs, Caravans, even some of the sporty planes should be fine. We just don't want to be sort of doing, you know, 120 knots cruise because we won't make it otherwise. We need to be doing about 150, 160. Yeah, if you want to grab the livery as well, if you want the Squirrel livery, a Kingo would be fine as well, if you want to fly a Kingo. We've got the Kingo, the Caravan, and the TBM, I think, in the Squirrel livery and this livery. Looks really nice on the TBM. I just heard a switch. I definitely heard something go click then. Can you hear that? That's really weird. What I should do is we should be doing about 50 fuel flow. I'm trying to tweak this and get it working properly. I don't know what's playing with the switches, if I'm honest. There you go, that'll do. That'll do. Your cargo is mechanical keyboards. At least the bugs keep you busy, that's very true. Right, while we're in cruise, I'm going to take a very quick bio break. So I shall be back in a minute. Guess I'll leave. I'll leave this on. Let's see where we're going. Kim570, thank you for the $5 donation. No message, but thank you very much for your support. Anyway, back in a sec. There's a bit of a break in the weather though. I hope it's a bit more like that when we get there. You can see where the wind's coming from. Just by the way we're crabbing left. No, I'm not using Rex. Stock weather. So we're coming in on 1.7, airport elevation 743. Looks like we're going to land on 1.7 and then we're going to have to turn around and backtrack all the way. Okay. Do you have a minimum airport size set for this plane, like 3? I've got it set on 2 at the moment. But when I saw this job, it was like 200 miles for 98 grand. Not like I'm doing that, I don't care, I'll land this plane. 108 nautical away, so at 60 we're going to descend. User F, the slogan that we used to have for Air Squirrel was something like, you have to be nuts to fly with us, I think. I think that's what we used to have. There might be an issue with taking off. Nah, we'll be fine. We'll be fine, mate. We just took off a 1,000-meter runway. How long is this one? Five and a half thousand foot runway. What's that in meters? That's like 1,500 meters at least. At least. It's massive. It's huge. We took off with 1,000 meters with full tanks. We're fine. See me no more. You're welcome, sir. That scenery looks a bit not exactly high quality. Maybe it's just the elevation we're at. Probably is. You did 800 in the earlier with no cargo. Depends on your fuel level, really. Korea Insincere, thank you for the 200 bits. Thank you. I'm not using the King Air mod because Honor recognizes it as a different plane, so it doesn't let you fly it. It says if you've got the mod on, it goes, oh, that's not the King Air. So unfortunately I can't use the mod. Not while I'm flying on air anyway. What's that for, Pro? 3,300 feet, what, minimum runway length? So this plane is quite... The angle of attack of this plane is weird right now. I don't know if this is normal, but it feels like... if that's the horizon, we're like pitched up 10 degrees. Is that normal? I mean, like, does that, a real Kenga do that? Or is that just this sim? Or is that because of On Air? Like, I don't know. It's because of the horizontal stabilizer being on top. Interesting. So because of this, it causes a 10-degree pitch. I'd like to see... I may go on YouTube at some point and see if we can find a Kinga being flown for real to see what kind of angle of attack it has. A lawnmower. I think it sounds like a strimmer. The pitch should be 2 to 3 degrees plus. What, in a real Kinga 350? SCJs? Free in-flight food. Yep. I've got some cake here. Help yourself. You're flying 20k and your angle is 5 degrees above. Alright, so that must be On Air then. Either that or because I fully loaded the fuel tanks, maybe. I mean, it could be that. It could be a weight and balance thing. I filled the fuel tank. The main tanks were full. You have full fuel as well. In that case, I don't know. Right, we're about 20 nautical off descent. Looks like the weather's cleared up a little bit down there. It's still showing broken at 4,200 for me. With the wind coming in 210 at 3 knots, so it's a pretty light wind. Yeah, but currently in On Air, it doesn't load the cargo into the plane properly because it can't. It needs Microsoft to change the SDK, is what I understand. So On Air will set the fuel, and the fuel will count to the weight and balance, but it can't set the cargo in there. Or if it does it in a really janky way. Actually, maybe that's it. Maybe what it does is it sets like a block of weight somewhere like back here. And like all the cargo's there, and it just causes the plane to do that. Because we kind of had that with FSC. When flying the Caravan that time, it had a giant coffin. You remember? It doesn't set weight, what, at all? Yeah, I don't want to bring up the weights and balance tab in case On Air freaks out. Yeah, I don't want to touch it, Slappy. I'm not risking it. My curiosity doesn't go far enough to risk On Air just going, oh, flight's aborted. Is the game worth getting? I think so. Depends what your expectation level's at, though. 69 nautical. Going down. Do you reduce your mixture? You don't play with mixture in a turboprop. I did a video on mixture if you want to know how it works. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll find one on mixture. Condition lever is currently at... What, as in here? Or here? You reckon the condition lever should be like there? Yeah, I thought it was max as well. I always have it on max. Another sneeze that just came out of nowhere.
Position altitude. Nearest altimeter.
From the POH and the King Air, the prop should be 17 to 1800 RPM, condition full forward, throttles for max torque. Are you on about in cruising, Pierce? Or climb or descent? Maybe Ryan, I don't know yet. $1,700. See, somebody said, Impious, somebody said 1,500 in cruise. Weirdly. Yeah, it's mostly stock, the log. I'm not using a mod for the King Air. I'm not using Rex Weather. Alright, Mickey Legit, see you later. I'm quite careful about what mods I choose, you know. I've always worked on the basis that the more mods you have, then when things crash, the more chance you've got of not having a clue what's causing it. Because it's not just the mods, it's the interaction, you know? It's 1500, talks about 66%, 185 indicated. Okay, that was pretty close to what I had. Because I was doing about 70%, I think. That's what we're going for. 42 miles away. Once you get enough cash in the honor, we get an A320. I have no idea. I mean, there's the personal cash and then there's the VA cash, right? And the VA cash, I'd kind of like to try out some FBOs and see how they work. That Flight Sim Europe official trailer is awesome. Huh. I don't know if I've seen that. Aqua Vitale for Canadian border expenses. Oh, you think $5 is going to be enough? I think it's going to take at least 100 tier 3s to get over there. Oh, it was on IGN. I've not seen it. Need to generate some VA jobs, I think, put us to work. Nikolai, I messaged Sammy about that, and I think we're going to try and get on that one next week and work out how to create all these jobs and stuff. I'm a bit concerned about... Who was it who was in last week? They were basically saying that they spend 2 hours a day doing job generation in their VA and on our... It's like 2 hours a day. Nobody can afford that. Ain't got time for that. Biff Gimble, thank you for 3 months. Good day from Colorado. Good day, sir. Back through the clouds. Alright, landing lights coming on. Winter Rail, good morning. Merlin. Thank you for almost 2 years, Merlin. I wish they'd fix these hitboxes, though. They're so annoying. I think the hitbox for this one is the same size as this one, only the hitbox sits above this panel. So when you go to click something, you click the heading bug, but you also click through onto this hitbox and you get this effect. It's just really annoying. Right, so what are we aiming for? 2,000, about 5, about 15 nautical will be there. We're fine, we're on profile, no problem. So 2,000 from Rudvia to off decks, we should already be in descent at that point. 0.6 from off decks. We begin our descent. About breaking out of the clouds. It's a lot higher than it was back at the previous airfield. How do you get rid of the tooltip showing in the click spot? There's a mod for it. It's quite a nice mod. It does what Microsoft should have done as an option. Wow, there's a lot of trees. Well, there is that. Like you say, it reminds you which buttons are working. Ivan, that's not the whole story. They didn't close registrations out of choice. They closed them because they couldn't keep up. Because of the manual process they have for approving Game World accounts, they couldn't keep up with approving them. So they ended up with like 10 pages of stuff. And as fast as they were approving them, there was more coming in. So they shut applications off and tried to rebuild an automated service, which I don't know if that works or not, but they've reopened applications. I imagine living there. I bet everybody knows everybody. Yeah, they only open up their funding like once every couple of years, I think. Right, coming up on 2,000. Let's get the speed back. Right, gear down 3 green. Just doing that thing again. It's pitching the nose up something ridiculous. Speed brake. Well, if I cycle the speed brake, nothing happens, so it's not that. It just feels like there's something weird going on. It feels like the angle of attack is just stupidly high. So it pitches up. Like, the whole point when you got flaps down is the nose comes down. And it's just pitching up and up and up and up. I'm just going to turn the autopilot off. It's very odd. We'll just go manual.
Three-mile final runway 17.
Lift is not simulated. There's something weird going on with this plane right now. Yeah, but the weight isn't being loaded by on her, so it's not that. It's all good. We'll still land. We just have to do it manually. It could well be a VNAV bug, but I just feel like the plane is... the back end is too low. I just feel like its angle of attack isn't right. It's all that cake in the back, yeah.
Hundred.
500.
I'm sure we had a right crosswind that's now just suddenly disappeared.
Stall. Stall.
As if.
Stall.
As if. Yeah, there's something wrong with the angle of attack on this. It's definitely not right.
Landing time note. Landed at Charlie Yankee uniform. Carcass Kissing.
See that? Look how, do you see that? The plane is literally doing this. The plane was just doing a wheelie. There's so much weight at the back end, it was doing a wheelie. That is definitely not right. Have you checked the sim settings in the client? What am I looking for? Well, there's the trim now. That's what it would have been on takeoff. If I pull the elevator now, it doesn't do it. Let's put the trim right back. I don't know. Well, the problem is I can only really check the weight and balance screen when Honor is finished, and when Honor is finished, it might disconnect whatever it was doing. The trim was set, the trim was set by the autopilot, which started doing it, and then the trim was set by me on my descent, and it was still something weird going on. Like, the trim is set to what it has to be for the plane to fly properly. I mean, according to that, it's well within takeoff weight. It seems to have loaded passengers up anyway. I don't know. Some weirdness going on.
Engine off time note. End of flight. Registered in On Air Company.
The center of gravity was definitely off. for the whole flight. Like the whole flight was 10 degrees nose up. Something was not wrong, not right with that flight. I don't know what though. Center of gravity was off, yeah. Right, let's have a look. That should have paid up nicely as well. So we've got 28 grand out of that. And the VA. The VA got 98 grand, paid us 28, so it went up another 60k for a short flight. That paid so well. No questions asked cargo. Right, I'm late for my break. I should be back in about 50 minutes time, guys. We're going to do VFR flight, group flight again. So if you want to take part in that, get the route, exclamation mark route, will tell you that. We're going to fly about 160 knots though, so just get a plane that's capable of doing it. And I shall see you all very shortly. I need to rush off and grab some food now. So yeah, back in about 50 minutes at 5 o'clock for the VFR group flight around Japan. All right. If you're heading out for the evening, have a good one. Otherwise, I'll see you in a bit. Bye for now.